Prophet of mankind, the peace of heart and mind, the most generous and kind, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, has stated, there is an angel of Allah Azza wa Jal who has one arm in the east and the other in the west. Whenever anybody recites Durood Sharif upon me with devotion, this angel dives into water and shakes his wings. Allah Azza wa Jal creates an angel in place of each droplet of water dripping from his wings. These angels then continuously seek forgiveness for that person who had recited Durood Sharif upon me until the day of judgment. So in love and devotion to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, let's recite Durood inshallah. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Now before I start the speech, I'm just going to pose a question to the audience here. Does anyone know what Islamic Day is today?
1 minute. It's the 22nd.
22nd or 23rd, I'm not sure.
Of Jummah.
It might be 23rd because after Maghrib, the Islamic Day changed, so I'm not 100% sure, but as far as I know, what I've seen is 23rd today. And the 23rd of Jumad al-Akhir, do you know what that signifies? It signifies, or is the day that our beloved Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu passed away from this world. The apparent passing away of Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So today's speech, inshallah, will be about the best of man who wasn't a prophet. The best of man in this whole entire universe, apart from the Anbiya Ikram, alayhim salam. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was a child, he had never prostrated to idols. At that time, Islam wasn't established in Makkah al-Mukarram, and people were worshipping the idols inside the Holy Kaaba. Once in his early childhood, his father took him to a temple, an idol house, and said to him, "These are your majestic and gracious gods, prostrate to them." When Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he came in front of the idol and he said to it, "I am hungry, give me food. I have no clothes, give me clothes. I will throw a stone at you. If you are a god, protect yourself." How could that idol answer? Of course the idol could not answer. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu then threw the stone at the idol and it fell to the ground. On seeing that, his father became angry and slapped him on his blessed face. His father then took him from there straight to his mother and told her the whole story. She said, "Leave him on his way. For when he was born, a voice from an unknown source was heard saying, 'O truthful servants of Allah Azza wa Jal, congratulations. This child is Atiq.'" The Arabic word Atiq means to be freed. Meaning, in the heavens his name is Siddiq, meaning truthful. And he is the companion and close friend of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this incident was narrated by Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu himself in the blessed court of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When he narrated this story to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam then came to the court of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he said, "Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala has spoken the truth and he is indeed Siddiq, meaning truthful." Imam Ahmad Khastalani has mentioned this hadith in his Sharh of Sahih Bukhari. So a brief introduction there to Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. You know, he's the first Khalifa as we know. The first leader of Muslims after the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala is Abdullah. That's his name. His actual name is Abdullah, the slave of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Abu Bakr is his title. So how someone explained to you earlier, how my title is Abu Majid. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, that was his title, Abu Bakr. His actual name was Abdullah. His other titles as well, as I've mentioned, Siddiq and Atiq, meaning truthful, and free, meaning free from the fire. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal, the meaning of Siddiq is the one who speaks the truth. He was referred to by this title even in the period of ignorance in Makkah al-Mukarramah, because he always spoke the truth. The meaning of Atiq is free. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ conveyed this glad tidings to him. Anta atikum minan nar. Anta atikum minan nar. Meaning, you are free from the fire of hell. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said this to Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. What great news to hear. And this is why he radiallahu ta'ala then got this title. He is Qurayshi, and 7 generations above, his genealogical tree, meaning his ancestry tree, joins that with the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. So he is linked to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 7 generations above. He radiallahu ta'ala was born in Makkah al-Mukarramah approximately 2.5 years after Aam al-Fil. And this means the year of the elephant, when the ill-mannered and ill-fated king Abraha attacked the sacred Kaaba with an army of elephants. You can read more on that if you buy the book. I forgot what it's called. So I think it's Miraculous Wonders of the Quran. Stories from the Quran, I forgot what it's called. And Dawud Islami has it in their Muktabs as well. That's a very good book to buy with many stories from the Quran. But anyway, he was born 2.5 years after Amul Fil. The leader of the believers, Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, is that companion who was the first to testify to the prophethood of the beloved and blessed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam amongst all the people. He radiallahu ta'ala possesses noble virtues and excellences to such a great extent that leaving the Prophet alayhi wasallam, exactly how I mentioned, he's the greatest and most highly ranked of all mankind. Amongst all the free men, he radiallahu ta'ala was the first to embrace Islam, and he participated in all the Islamic battles with full devotion and valor, and being an advisor to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every decision, in war and in peace. He proved his loyalty and allegiance by supporting the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam at every single step of his life. He passed away on the 22nd of Jumada al-Akhir in the 13th year after Hijri, on the blessed day of Monday after a splendid reign of Khilafat which lasted 2 years and 7 months. The leader of the believers, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, led the funeral prayer, and Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala was then buried inside the blessed tomb, inside the blood and blessed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now there's many ulama that have differences on who was the first person to accept Islam. So it's saying here that although most of the blessed companions and Tabi'een emphasized that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala was the first Muslim, some said that it was Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, and some others said that it was Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu ta'ala, the Prophet's first wife. But Imam Abu Hanifa, the founder of the Hanafi fiqh, the school of thought that we follow, he reconciled these opinions by stating that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, he was the first to embrace Islam from amongst the men. And then he said that Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu ta'ala was the first to accept Islam from the women. And Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem embraced Islam first amongst all the boys. It's stated that it is ijma, consensus amongst the ulama of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that leaving the Prophet alayhi salam, that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala is the most highly ranked and supreme personality of the entire universe, followed then by Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, then followed by Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala, then followed by Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem, and then the rest of the Ashara Mubashara, the 10 companions who promised entry into paradise. Now just think about it, I've said it 3 times now, that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala is the best of people after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we all know our awliya, we have our sheikhs as well, who we look up to the most. But then above them there was another sheikh, and above them was another sheikh, above them was another sheikh, so it goes up in piety and blessings. And then we go to Ghaus al-Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, who we hold in such high regard, Allah Hazrat rahmatullahi ta'ala, that we hold in such high regard. But Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala was better than all of them. The only people that were better than him were the Prophets alayhi salam. Think about that, realize the great status of Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. No one, only 2 people have the blessing to be near the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam at all times. Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu, and Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anhu. And they are buried next to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They have their wish, they wish for this. They wish to spend their entire lives with the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's what Allah granted them in life and in death. Allah Akbar. So after the Ashra al-Bashara, who comes next in terms of greatness? It's the rest of the Ahl Badr, the companions who fought at the Battle of Badr. And then the companions who fought at the Battle of Uhud. And then the rest of the Ahl Bayt, those who made the Pledge of Allegiance to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and then the remainder of the Sahaba Ikram radiallahu ta'ala. This consensus has been quoted by many scholars, and they would attribute Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Uthman, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala with excellence and high rank in the state that the blessed beloved Prophet ﷺ was amongst us. So when you have people, certain people, they talk ill of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, is clear proof here. The status and the greatness of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. I won't mention any names, I won't mention any groups, I'll say. We probably know the people who say the mick out of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, and they curse him. They curse the Sahaba Ikram who came before Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala. Imam Ahmad and all the scholars have narrated that Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, that he says, after the noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhum are the best of this ummah. And that's from Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So the people who hold Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala such a high regard and they don't hold the others, listen to the saying of your master Sayyidina and our master Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. In the early age of Islam, anybody who became a Muslim, they would hide their Islam as much as possible. Why? Because it was very difficult to practice openly. They were surrounded by so many non-Muslims, and it was dangerous at the time of Makkah al-Mukarramah. And it was also the order of the Holy Prophet ﷺ to stay quiet and not practice openly, to not cause any harm to the Muslims. So when the number of Muslim men became exactly 38, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, he requested in the blessed call of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, O Prophet sallallahu Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, grant us permission to preach the message of Islam openly now. Grant us this permission. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he declined permission at first. But Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala kept repeatedly asking Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, let us practice Islam openly. Let's practice Islam openly. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam granted him permission. So all the Muslims went to Masjid al-Haram, and the first speech of Islam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, then began to deliver his speech. As soon as the speech started, the disbelievers and the polytheists of the time attacked the Muslims from all directions. They attacked all the Muslims, only 38 in number, and they all got attacked. Despite the fact that the honor and dignity of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala was acknowledged all over Makkah Sharif, he was already someone of high status with the people of Makkah al-Mukarramah. The disbelievers still attacked him in such a way that his blessed face got injured badly, and he began to bleed to the extent that he became unconscious. Such was the wickedness of these people at that time. When the people of his tribe, they came to know about his condition, they picked him up from there. The people began to think that maybe Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala would not survive. Then in the evening, when he recovered and regained consciousness, the first words as soon as he woke up from his blessed truth lips were, how is the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? How is the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Upon this, he radiallahu ta'ala was rebuked by the people who said, it is because of your support of him that you are suffering this misfortune. Even then you are still only calling his name. Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, Khair, brought some food for him. But there was still only one wording, one statement on his lips. How is the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? And when his mother told him that she did not know, he radiallahu ta'ala said, please ask Jamil, the sister of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala. In order to fulfill this heartfelt request of her beloved son in his oppressed state, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala's mother went to Sayyidina Jamil radiallahu ta'ala and asked about the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now, due to the unfavorable circumstances at the time, Sayyidina Jamil radiallahu anha had still hidden her Islam. She was still hiding it, keeping it secret. So, when Khair came, she was not yet a Muslim. And so she said, she pretended she didn't know who Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was. She pretended and said, I don't know who Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is. I don't know who Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala is. However, hearing the condition of your son has caused me great sorrow. If you like, I will come with you to see him. So the sister of Sayyidina Farouk, Sayyidina Jamil radiallahu ta'ala, then went with Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique's mother, Khair, to her home. When Sayyidina Jamil radiallahu ta'ala saw the unfortunate condition of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala, she could not control herself and she began to start weeping. She was crying. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala then said, give me good news of the well-being of my beloved Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This was his request to her. Sayyidina Jamil radiallahu ta'ala signaled to his mother to draw his attention towards her. When he radiallahu ta'ala said, don't be afraid of her. Then she radiallahu ta'ala, she said, by the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal, the Prophet's mercy sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is safe and sound. And presently he is at Dar al-Arqam, the home of Sayyidina Arqam radiallahu ta'ala. He radiallahu ta'ala then replied, I swear by Allah Azza wa Jal, I will not eat or drink anything until I gain the blessing of beholding the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Such was the love of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He is just recovering from severe wounds of nearly dying. And regaining consciousness, the first thing he asked was, how is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Then, when he found out about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's state, I will not eat or drink anything until I have the blessing of the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is how much Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique loved the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So in the last part of the night, his mother took him to the blessed presence of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The greatest devotee of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique, embraced the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he began to weep. The Holy Prophet ﷺ and the other Muslims who were present also started weeping because they could not bear to see the sorrowful condition of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. Then he radiallahu ta'ala said to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this is my respected mother. She took him there. This is my respected mother. Please pray for her to be guided. Give her the invitation to Islam. The blessed and beloved Prophet ﷺ then gave her the invitation to embrace Islam, and by the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal, she became a Muslim immediately. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala. Dear Islamic brothers, have you not heard from this story? The troubles and oppression that were confronted in the mission of propagation of Islam. We think our lives are hard. But at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, 38 Muslims only, and they were surrounded by disbelievers. And as soon as they practiced openly, they were attacked by the disbelievers and the polytheists. Any normal human being would think, oh, that's it, I'm not doing that again. No, I'm not doing that again. And then he died. But the Holy Prophet Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu, they are the true men of Islam. And they carried forward no matter what to spread the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, as we all know in Dawud Islami as well, we have many qafilas that travel every week. And people find it very difficult to even give 3 days of their time every month, just not even 3 days, 2 days, from Friday night till Sunday morning. Is that even 3 days, can you say? To spend in the masjid for the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. Fine, don't travel on the money qafla if you don't want to. I suggest you do, but come to your local masjid and stay there for 2 days. Do individual worship to Allah Azza wa Jal. Why do we not do that? We don't even spend, we have 24 hours in a day. If we have 8 hours for sleeping, Then we have 8 hours of work if you work 9 to 5. And then you got another 8 hours left. Where does that 8 hours go? You know, we should spend like half a day in Deen and half a day in Dunya. But that's kind of hard. We can only do we do 2/3 in Dunya right now. And we got a whole third left. Okay, fair enough, you want to relax for an hour, 2 hours with your children if you got that, with your family, with your friends. And then you got still another 4 or 5 hours. And where does that go? Watching TV or messing about? I don't know. Where does that actually go? Think to yourself, where does those 4 or 5 hours I'm talking about go? How much of Islam could you learn there? And how much individual worship could you do in those 4 or 5 hours? It's a lot. So when we think we have problems, or when we get lazy, we should look at Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique, the story that I've just mentioned. The story that I've just mentioned, that he was pelted to near death. Pelted to near death, and he still carried on with the proclamation of Islam. Now, Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique, he had 3 wishes, or he liked 3 things in his life. Only 3 things he said. Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique is narrated that I am fond of 3 things. These are his words. I am fond of 3 things. Number 1, to continuously look at the refulgent face of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Refulgent means like bright face, nur, proper, like the brightest you can think of. That's what refulgent means. Bright white face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 2, to spend my wealth for the sake of the beloved and blessed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then number 3, to remain present in the cause of the Prophet of Rahmah, the intercessor of the Ummah, the owner of Jannah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are the words of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique himself. That was 3 things he wanted, desired, and that he was fond of. And then for the sake of his love for the blessed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah Azza wa Jal fulfilled all these 3 desires of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. All 3 of these desires were given to him by Allah Azza wa Jal, because he was such a lover of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, we cannot even compare one bit to Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala. And they even say that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, that even he was not worthy of reciting Durood Sharif upon the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if this man, who is the greatest of all mankind, apart from the Prophet alayhi salam, and even he was not worthy of reciting Durood Sharif upon the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then who are we? Who are we to be compared to Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu? To even try to read Durood Sharif, that doesn't mean we shouldn't. That doesn't mean we shouldn't. We should always read Durood Sharif, inshallah. But if he was not worthy, then we are nothing. And we should always think like that. Why we get arrogant over anything and everything? I have this ability, I have that ability, I look this good, this thing is for me, I'm better than you at this and that. But if Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique is better than you in every way, Islamically, and he's not worthy of reciting Durood Sharif upon the Holy Prophet and what else? We do not even compare to Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique. If we had one hair of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique, one hair's worth of love that he had for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then that would be enough for us to go to Jannah, inshallah. But alas, we don't have that. We do not have that love. We do not have that love. I've said this before. We claim to be lovers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How many of us follow the path of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu? How many of us, never mind, if you love someone, you do things that they say, I like. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we don't follow his sunnah. We don't know his language, Arabic. Never mind not knowing it, we can't even recite it properly. So then how can we call ourselves lovers of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How can we call ourselves in the same light as Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala? Just things to think about as well. So Allah Azza wa Jal, he fulfilled these 3 desires. He radiallahu ta'ala was blessed with the company of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in journeys and during residence at all times. To the extent that even in the solitude of the cave of Salt, everyone knows the story of the cave of Salt, where they were traveling to Medina Sharif to hide away from disbelievers. There was only 2 people in that cave, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And he was the only one to be blessed with the honor of viewing the blessed face of the noble Prophet. Number 2, similarly, his sacrifices of wealth were of such a great number that he was fortunate enough to sacrifice his entire wealth at the feet of the beloved Prophet. And then number 3, even in the enlightened tomb, the Holy Prophet bestowed his eternal companionship and closeness upon Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique, what I mentioned before. So these 3 wishes were Abu Bakr Siddique's, and because of his love for the Holy Prophet Allah granted it. So may Allah even give us those 1 hair's worth of love for us, for the Holy Prophet that Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique had for Rasulullah. May Allah forgive us for the sake of Abu Bakr Siddique's love of Rasulullah. These love-filled incidents that I mentioned of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique, it's a beacon for us. A devotee on the path of love does not care about himself. Remember this. If we really love Rasulullah and the awliya Ikram, we will not care about ourselves. We care about them. But the only desire of our hearts is to not follow. The only desire of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique's heart is to sacrifice everything he owns for the pleasure of his beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If only this passion would grow inside us too, and we too could have the enthusiasm to sacrifice everything for the pleasure of Allah and his beloved Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Unfortunately, it's extremely regrettable to see that the majority of Muslims nowadays, we're in such a position that we don't even have any devotion towards the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or Allah. We have fake claims, again like I mentioned, fake claims. It's just lip service that we have. I love Rasulullah. Do you really? You haven't got a beard. It is wajib one usable beard. You know that? If you don't have a full fist length beard, you are classed as a sinner. In the Hanafi fiqh, mother. Yeah? Because Malikis and Shafi'is, they don't have the little beard like this. But we Hanafis, we do. And even if we didn't, even if it wasn't necessary upon us, when men wear jewellery, which is not even allowed anyway. I remember watching a speech at Imam Khalid, and he said that, you know, men, they go out with chains, bad boys now, they go out with chains and big watches or jars, they're permissible. But you know what the real crown jewel of a man is? It's going to the beard. This is the real crown jewel of a man. The sign of a man, the sign of a lover of the Holy Prophet is growing a full fist-length beard. So make the intention, inshallah, to grow a full fist-length beard and to follow the blessed sunnah of the Holy Prophet. This deed could be the one that Allah accepts, and you're going to Jannah for that deed. And if you keep putting it and trimming it, that could be the deed that puts you into Jahannam. So be very wary. Be very, very wary. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now, my dears and brothers, this love wasn't one way. The love of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique to the Holy Prophet, it wasn't just one way. The Holy Prophet had much affection for his best friend. For his best friend, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique. The leader of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the Mujaddid of the 20th century, Imam Ahmad Raza Khan, rahmatullahi ta'ala, he's collected many hadith in which the Holy Prophet has spoken about the status and rank of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique. There's 3 narrations I'll present. From Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, once the Holy Prophet and his companions went into a pond. And the Holy Prophet said, everybody swim to their closest friend. Everybody swim to their closest friend. So all the Sahaba, they swam to their closest friends. And then there was only 2 people left who hadn't swum anywhere. The Holy Prophet and Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique. Them 2 were the ones left. And then Rasulullah he moved. Rasulullah moved towards Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique and embraced him and said, if I were to make you my Khalil, it would be Abu Bakr. However, he is my closest friend. Subhanallah. Number 2, Sayyidina Jabir ibn Abdullah has narrated, once we were present in the service of the Holy Prophet when he said, right now, a person is about to appear in front of you, who has been made the best and most noble after me, and his intercession will be like the intercessions of the Prophet We were present. And then we saw that Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he appeared. The Prophet of Allah Azza wa Jalla sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stood up, kissed him and then embraced him. Such was the love of Rasulullah sallallahu to Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala. Number 3. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrated, I saw the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam standing with the leader of believers, Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhahu. When Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu arrived, the beloved and blessed Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam greeted him. He greeted him, he embraced him, and he kissed him on the face. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu then said, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kissed the face of Abu Bakr as a question. The blessed Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam then replied, O Abu al-Hasan, that was the title of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala. The status of Abu Bakr in my court is similar to my status in the court of Allah Azza wa Jalla. That is the state. That's enough for you. The status of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. Such love between Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why they were the best of friends. Both Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim both report from Sayyidina Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu ta'ala that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ill once. And the illness was affecting him strongly. So he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, order Abu Bakr to lead the salah. Order Abu Bakr to lead the namaz, the prayer. That's what Rasulullah said to his wife at the time, Sayyiduna Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha. And she replied, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is soft-hearted. He will not be able to stand in your place to lead the prayer. The Holy Prophet ﷺ then said, order Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu to lead the salah. She radiallahu anha replied again, the same concern. The Holy Prophet ﷺ then made the same order again, but this time with a bit more emphasis. So then, Sayyiduna Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha then told the father to lead the salah. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu, he led the salah during the lifetime of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Let me repeat that again. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu led the namaz and Rasulullah was praying behind him. That is the status of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu, and this is a proof that he is the one who should be leading the Muslims after the apparent namaz of Rasulullah. That is a proof, because if it was Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, like some people say, Rasulullah was appointed Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. No, he was also present. So this again proves the status and the beauty and the relationship between Rasulullah and Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu. Now, if you don't know about the situation in the cave of Saud, when they were traveling to Medina, when it was the migration, the Holy Prophet Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, they hid in a cave. They hid in a cave because they were scared or they were in fear of the disbelievers finding them during the migration and then killed them, harm them or kill them. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he went into the cave first. He went into the cave first and he saw many holes in the cave where he thought insects might come from here. Snakes or harmful animals might come from here and might harm the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So he blocked up every single hole in the cave except 2. There was 2 that he could not block up. They were on the floor. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu then placed both of his feet on top of those holes. So he covered those holes with his feet. Then he told Rasulullah, come enter, it is now safe. It is fine. So the Holy Prophet then went to sleep on his lap. Whilst Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu is sitting or has his feet or leg over the holes. And a snake comes in one of those holes. And the snake is biting at Siddiq Akbar's foot or leg because it's blocking his way. He is blocking the snake's way to keep the Holy Prophet safe. And he started crying because of the pain. He did not want to disturb the Holy Prophet whilst he was sleeping on his lap. So he tried to make no noise. The only reason Rasulullah woke up, obviously because he has knowledge of the unseen as well, but tears of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq fell on the blessed face of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he woke up and he asked, "Oh Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu, why are you crying?" And then Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu anhu, he told the whole incident of the snake. And then the beloved and blessed Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam then rubbed his blessed saliva on the part of the foot that he had been bitten on, and the wound healed up immediately. That is the blessing of even the lu'ab. I don't like you to use the word spit. It's not a very nice word, but the lu'ab, that's in Arabic. Saliva of Rasulullah, even the saliva has so much shifa for a person. It cured him of his snake bites and the pain. When Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu, he went into the cave along with the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The chasing disbelievers had almost reached the cave. The presence of both these respective personalities in the cave has been mentioned even in the Quran, where it says, ثَانِيَ اثْنَيْنِ إِذْ هُمَا فِي الْغَارِ, just as two men when they both were in the cave. Allah Azza wa Jalla created the physical sources of protection for these two individuals in such a way that the Holy Prophet ﷺ entered the cave along with Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu. A divine guard of protection was put in place. We all know the spider that made the spider web, a fresh spider web. So when the disbelievers came, they thought, it's a fresh spider web, no one could have got in there. There was also a bird who laid eggs there. So they were thinking, one, the spider, but then to confirm it, the nest hasn't been moved, the bird hasn't run away, so no one could be in here, and they moved on. Allah protected His beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam and His beloved radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Such is the status. Now, dear Islam, just imagine for a moment, talking about this story, that we were this spider, that we were this spider, that we could see the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that we could see Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala, that we were lucky enough to be this spider, to have the vision of them too, to be the reason that they were protected as well. Obviously Allah was granted that protection through the spider web. Imagine. Well, sorry, inshallah we'll get that sign in Jannah, inshallah. But that's the love between two people. When we say, you know, I love this person for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, I love this person for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. It can't be, it doesn't have to be just between man and wife, mother and son, mother and father, husband and wife, brothers and brothers, sisters and sisters. We say we love for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, we don't really. The real love for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal is the friendship between Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala. And that is the beauty of their relationship. There was one time, Sayyidina Imam Muhammad ibn Sirin alayhi rahmatullahi al-Qawi states that when Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala was going towards the cave with the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would sometimes walk in front of the blessed Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and sometimes behind. The Holy Prophet ﷺ asked, how come you do this? He replied, when I think about those people searching for us, I move behind you. But when I think about the hidden enemies waiting for an ambush, I then move in front of you so that no harm can reach you, inshallah. Now that should cement the point of the love of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique, the Holy Prophet ﷺ. The people, they're behind us, I'm going to stay behind you so they hurt me first. If they shoot a bow or arrow, it gets to me first, I protect you. But there might be some enemies in front, so I'll walk in front of you as well, so they attack me first before you. That was the thinking of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala. That was his thinking. And that is true friendship. The guide to the path of salvation, the master of Medina, the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he then asked, in case of any danger, would you prefer to die before me in my place? He replied, by Allah, this is my only desire. This is my only desire, Ya Rasulullah. And I think that's a good point to end on. May Allah give us the passion to learn more about Islam, to learn more about the companions of this. Everything that I've read is a book from Dawud Islam. It's a little a little book. 74 pages about the life of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddique. Everything I read is in there. So, get it, inshallah, and learn about Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and then pass that booklet on, and pass that knowledge on, inshallah. It's only good for you, it'll be sadaqah jariyah for you, it'll be thawab for you, and if you do it with the correct intention, it could be the good deed that gets you into Jannah. Do not forsake any good deed just because you think it might be small, because that little deed might be the one that gets you into Jannah, inshallah. And don't think that, oh, it's only a little sin. It's only a little sin. That little sin could be the one that Allah puts His wrath on you because of that little sin. Maybe you didn't go and kill someone, maybe you just swore one time. Allah could have been angry at that moment you swore. And that could be the one that gets you to hell. So stay away from sins and do as many good deeds as possible, whether you think they're small or not. Alhamdulillah, one good deed, inshallah, that's a tree planted for me in Jannah as well. So follow, or we should all try and follow. May Allah give the ability to try and follow Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddique in his life and in his path, and give us an atom's amount of love that he had for the Holy Prophet within us as well. Ameen.